Hi, everyone, and welcome to this four-part series on automating of onboarding students and the use of Microsoft to manage G Suite. For those who don't know me, my name is Shidari Idowu, and I'm a solutions architect with Akins IT. I've been with the company for just under a year now, and my primary focus is that of a Microsoft 365 solutions architect with emphasis on the security and compliance front. Now, although we'll be focusing more so on the security management portion of the G Suite experience within Azure AD administration, it's not to say that we are necessarily limited to just the features that I will be touching on today. Now, without further ado, I would like to go ahead and address the nature of this webinar series, or rather the purpose of the solution, which is that of a way in which administrators can more easily manage identities, disparate identities in both Azure AD, their on-prem AD, and also G Suite, while allowing for synchronization from the student information system into an on-prem AD environment, into Azure AD, and then of course into G Suite. And in addition to that, students will find it much easier to complete their login experience when they only need to know of one set of credentials, one identity, so to speak. So with one identity, we'll be able to effectively manage, and with one identity, students will be able to effectively sign in to all their applications. So then, taking a look here at just a high-level overview, again, that's a synchronization that will be establishing between the student information system into the on-prem AD, into Azure AD, and then lastly into G Suite. And in part one of this webinar, we'll be covering the configuration of single sign-on for G Suite in Azure AD. This will involve setting up single sign-on in G Suite, configuring single sign-on in Azure, review of user provisioning details, and then a run-through of single sign-on with student accounts. To take a look at the requirements, or rather the recommendations for the single sign-on setup within Azure AD. On the furthest left, we have the single sign-on option. In here, we can specify SAML, or rather we will be using SAML for the G Suite integration, and it essentially allows users, students in this case, to more efficiently sign in to their accounts, their G Suite accounts. And then in the middle section, we have the automatic user provisioning. Now, this is what allows for user accounts to be created in either our on-prem AD or our Azure AD. And then with synchronization between on-prem AD into Azure through the use of Azure AD Connect, we will then, of course, have the user accounts also provisioned within G Suite without needing to go through any additional steps. And then lastly, on the right-hand side, we have the conditional access policies that we can create in accordance with the identities that we have in our Azure AD and G Suite. And this will allow for additional management of those identities, setting additional security parameters and more. And now taking a look at the G Suite side of things, these are the parameters that would need to be specified in order to enable the single sign-on experience from Azure AD. Starting from the top, we have the signing page URL. This would, of course, be the page that students are redirected to upon attempting to sign into their G Suite application. This would be the Azure AD page. The sign up page URL would again be an Azure AD page to which students are redirected upon electing to sign out. The change password URL will be the password page, or rather the password reset page to which users, students in this case, are taken to when they elect to change their password. And the verification certificate would be a unique certificate to our Azure AD environment, or rather from our G Suite to our G Suite, I should say. And next, we have the user provisioning details. As we can see, at the bottom right-hand side, we see the provisioning interval, which is 40 minutes. Now, we could, of course, manually synchronize these users in groups, or we can allow the user provisioning to occur on its own every 40 minutes. In this experiment, or rather in this scenario, we have 2 student accounts indicated, and from there, we'll be taking a look at how we can manage those 2 accounts. To begin with, we'll be using my account, Chadarito at the top, circled in red. And this user will be navigating to the My Apps portal of Azure. This My Apps portal is where all the single sign-on applications that are set up in Azure will be presented to users, and the students in this case will be electing to sign into G Suite. Upon doing so, the student will be redirected to their Gmail sign-in page. Once the student enters their email address and selects to continue through the sign-in experience, they are then redirected to the Azure AD portal. Now, the student simply needs to enter their email address once more, select next, and then entering their password. This, of course, will be the same email address and password as we have in G Suite, since we have the synchronization going between Azure AD and G Suite of that identity. And once the student has entered their password, they are then taken immediately to their Gmail. And that concludes the overview on the configuration of single sign-on of G Suite within Azure AD.